Minimalism is all about doing less. And I've found that the less I have, the less I have to clean. And now my home is always clutter-free. Whoa, 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 whoa. Dude, what are you doing? You can't show my closet. I gotta look extreme if I'm gonna make it on YouTube. All right, hold up. This is obviously fake. Fine, I'll just share the actual tips that I use to keep my home clutter-free. Do you really think that's what people want? Yeah. The first tip is more of a mental one, and that is to realize that you can't have it all. You can't have every shirt under the sun and expect to not have a cluttered closet. You can't have a jacket for every single occasion and expect them not to get cluttered. You can't have 5 different pairs of shoes that you wear all the time, not expect them to overwhelm your doorway. You have to realize that you can either have freedom or you can have options, but you can't really have both. All right, this one's more of a nitty-gritty hack that I've been using, and that is to switch up your hangers. This makes decluttering a lot easier. Instead of having to decide what to get rid of, what you wear, what you don't wear, and a lot of times we just lie to ourselves about that. Go ahead and switch all your hangers to the wrong direction, and then as you wear stuff, flip it back the other direction. Then set a reminder on your phone from 90 days or 6 months from now, and whatever hangers are pointed the wrong direction at that time, you just donate all those clothes and you don't really have to think about it. Sweep your house. Not like that. When I say sweep your house, I mean, go through your house 1 to 3 times a week with like a box. Just like set a timer or walk through each room individually and fill up that box of stuff you don't need. So you're not doing huge, massive, tear your house apart. You're going through and you're getting the easy access stuff, the stuff that you know you should get rid of and you just haven't been. It takes almost no time. It's easy to do. Sometimes you might just get through 1 room or 1 closet. Other times you can get a few things from a few different rooms. And then when you're done, just keep walking, take the box, put it right in the trunk of your car so that next time you're out, you can drop it off and donate it. Or if it's all garbage, then just throw it away immediately. This makes it a simple, easy step that you can go through. You can do it really quickly. You can do it as soon as this video is over, but not before it's over. It's just really like one of the easiest forms of decluttering. Use the 5-second rule, which is pretty much just like pick up your crap and take it with you. I used to have a bad habit of leaving glasses around my house. You'd have some upstairs, some in my office, some in the living room, and then eventually I'd run out and I'd have to go find them and track them all down. Or I'd just leave 1 or 2 things in my car each time I get out, and then after a while, my car is just like a wreck. This is just little things that add up eventually and start to clutter up your home and your life and gets annoying and stressful. So the 5-second rule is just as you're walking through a room, take the 5 seconds and pick up the glass, pick up the blanket, pick up the extra thing out of your car, take the trash out. There's so many little things that literally take 5 to 20 seconds that instead of actually taking care of them immediately, we let them build up and then eventually our house is a wreck and our car is a wreck and things are stressful. So do a bunch of 5-second tasks instead of a bunch of hour-long tasks while you're living in a messy house. I don't know, it helped me a lot. All right, speed round for this next one. We're gonna put 15 seconds on the clock starting now. Use a robot vacuum. There's 2 benefits of this. 1, you don't have to vacuum. And 2, it forces you to keep things off the floor because otherwise it won't work. I think that was under 15 seconds, so there's still time to subscribe because that only takes like 1.5 seconds, honestly. If you don't have room for it, build it. That's what I did with this. My coffee used to sit on the counter all the time and it looked messy and there was just too much stuff going on. So I actually built this coffee bar right here so that everything had a home and it could look neat and orderly. You can also do this for anything that doesn't have a home. Got a bunch of coats that are just laying around, shoes that just get thrown into a pile, get a shoe rack. It makes a big difference. So find a home for everything in your home, and if you can't find a home, build one. Try just cooking like twice a week. You might have to do it a little bit more than twice a week, but let me explain. This is a pot of chili. And this right here is beef stew. Now from those 2 things that honestly did not take that long to cook because it was a crock pot and just a regular pot, we'll be able to get at least 2 dinners and a few lunches this week from those. Plus we've made enough that we can freeze it and then in a couple weeks or a month, we have another dinner or 2. So just for taking like an hour to make a couple meals, that'll give us food for like a week's worth of meals spread out over the next month. It's easy, it's cheap, you don't clutter up, you save a lot of time and you don't have to do as many dishes or cook as many things. Learn from other people's mistakes. Honestly, this is the tip that will probably make the most difference. Instead of doing trial and error, which can make things way harder than they need to be, we should be learning from experts or at least people who have done it before so that we don't have to stumble forward, reinventing the wheel and trying to figure stuff out on our own. It can take way longer doing it that way. You waste a lot of time, you waste a lot of energy. And one of the ways that I do this in a bunch of different areas of my life is actually with the sponsor of this video, Skillshare. I actually just made my first class with Skillshare where I share some tips on how to get started on your minimalist journey, some mistakes I've made, some lessons I've learned, some tips, some hacks. Now, if you're not familiar with Skillshare, it is an online learning platform that has thousands of different classes on there from experts and other people who are teaching what they know. And I've been using them for well over a year to take classes on everything from photography to acting, minimalism, productivity, creativity. There's just so many great classes on there. Right now, I just finished going through one on essentialism for my second time from Greg McKeown, who wrote the book Essentialism. Ton of great stuff in there. So if you guys want to check them out, the first 1,000 people who use the link in the description will get a free 30-day trial. So you can check out my course, you can check out these other courses for free. There's just a lot of great information on Skillshare, so check out the link down in the description. When in doubt, basket out. That was just a terrible rhyme. We used to have our blankets just go over the couch. At least that was the idea, but they ended up getting left on the floor and all over the place. So we got this basket. And then we made a rule that at the end of the night, instead of just leaving the blankets lying all over the place, we just put them back in the basket. And it makes the whole living room feel completely different just from 2 blankets. You can also do this in a bunch of different areas in your house. You just need to be careful that those baskets don't become catch-alls for a bunch of clutter. Put dividers in your drawers. Clean up while you're cooking. This keeps things from piling up. Then you have a bunch of dishes when you're done cooking. You don't feel like dealing with them. You let them soak. They end up staying overnight. It gets out of hand. So just as you're cooking, as you're using things, take the 30 seconds and wash it right away before it gets worse. What state is high in the middle and round on both ends? O, high, O. Now, what do we learn from this beautiful state? We learn to only handle it once. So when you get the mail out of the mailbox, sort it immediately. Don't put it somewhere so that it has to get dealt with later. That's how stuff really starts to build up. When you get a text or an email that you have to respond to, do it right away. Don't let that build up. When you walk in your door and you have all your stuff, don't just put it down on the table and then you'll have to deal with that later. Only handle it once. Put it away right away. This keeps things from building up and your entire house getting cluttered over a few short tasks. Use the reverse 1 in, 1 out rule. Most of you know what the 1 in, 1 out rule is. That's when you get a coffee cup, you throw out a different coffee cup. But this is reversed. You only buy a new coffee cup when your old one is already thrown away, it's broken, it doesn't work anymore. And that goes with everything in your house. You don't buy new clothes unless your old clothes actually wore out and you had to get rid of them because they had holes and you couldn't go out in public. Even though they were your favorite pair and you're still hanging on to them and you just can't let it go because it's really sad and they feel so comfortable, but you have to get rid of them. I'm not ready to say goodbye. But this rule will actually save you from buying a bunch of stuff and cluttering up your home because for the most part, we don't actually use things until they're gone anymore. We use them till we get bored of them and then we just throw them out. It's depressing. Do 1-minute tasks that will save you hours. This can be a lot of different things. If you have a spending problem, maybe like actually cancel your credit card so you can just eliminate that problem. Something that I do. Not only will you spend less money, but you'll take in less stuff. You'll have a cleaner home because of that. I also installed an extension on Chrome so that anytime I go to buy something, I have to wait for 30 seconds before I can actually buy that thing. And it makes me think about, do I really need this thing or is it just an impulse buy? And that can bring less stuff into your house, which in turn is less to take care of. Or even just going through your phone. Right now, I don't have any social medias on my phone. You can take a few seconds and delete those, and that can save you hours every day that you can use towards keeping a more clutter-free home. All right, these last 5 tips are actually from you guys. Avoid having too many flat surfaces. We got rid of a bunch of furniture in our house because the more flat surfaces we have, the more stuff we just collect. So if you don't need an end table and it just picks up stuff all the time and that annoys you, just get rid of the end table. Watch an episode of Hoarders. Life-changing. It'll scare you. Nothing should be on the counter or any surface. If I don't have storage for it, it means either I don't need it or I have too much stuff. If you can borrow it, don't buy it. Keep a donation box within reach and toss stuff in as you find it. I've had one of these going for a couple of years. It makes getting rid of stuff and making that a habit. As you see stuff that you don't need, you just throw it into the box. Super simple. You get rid of a bunch of stuff. It's shocking. Amazing tip, get yourself a box. MD Nay says, I subscribed so you can get your Tesla, don't forget me. If you didn't know, once I hit 500,000 subscribers, I'm going to be getting a Tesla. So if you want to help me get there, change my life, don't forget to subscribe. It's free and I won't clutter up your feed because I only post once a week, so I'll see you next week.